Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Well, tonight we want to talk about the famous question or wonder that you mostly have after a breakup, or in general about moving on. Well, let's examine why it is rather challenging to move on. Let's understand what moving on means. When we say we move on, we want to move on. How can you move on? To move on, you got to be able to move on, right? Meaning you got to be free of hindrances. So to be free means not to be connected to, attached to. To be free, to move on means not to have attachment, not to be attached. So let's find out how attachment comes to be. Why do we feel attachment is important, that we don't take efforts or actions to free ourselves? And while we haven't seriously tried to free ourselves from attachment, yet we still expect to be able to move on. It's rather unreasonable. So let's examine the relationship between moving on, attachment, and why attachment seems to be something that we want to keep staying with it rather than letting it go. We know we want to move on, but why is it that you don't let go attachment? While you know you want to move on, it's good for you. So let's examine that. Well, you know, everything in life that we do, there's action, then there is a reaction. And from that reaction, then we create an action. And then from that action, there is a reaction. So there's like a wave of the ocean, it goes in and out, in and out. All action, reaction, from the reaction, and action, and then from the action, another reaction. And so we react to it. It's all a mechanical process. And this mechanical process seems to have become such an important thing for us because through mechanical process, we find security. Now, what is the relationship between mechanical process, security, and attachment? Well, whatever we become good at is when we become attached to it. Whether we become good at doing something, let's say you play tennis and you're not good at it, so you don't want to play anymore. There's no attachment. You don't want to play anymore. The mechanical process is not continued. The action of playing is not continued. So you don't want to play anymore. Therefore, there is no chance for you to be attached to playing tennis. But if you're somehow convinced, for some reason, you continue and you become good at playing tennis, there is a joy, enjoyment, pleasure, and that you're good at it. When you're good at it, you want to play more because it brings you joy. And because you're good at it, you feel safe in there because you have the knowledge. You're not lost, you feel secure. And because you keep doing this mechanical process, you continuously do that. From the continuation of what you're doing, becoming good at it, that continuation conditions your synaptic neurons. When you condition your synaptic neurons in something that you're constantly doing, you become good at it. At the same time, you become attached to it because you want to keep doing it, because that mechanical process that you're good at brings you certain feeling of confidence, security, belonging. That's why you want to belong to groups. You want to belong to ideas and causes, because you become part of something. And in here, in an individual basis, you become part of something that makes you feel confident and secure. You get the security through joining a group. In this case, you get the security through knowing how to well playing something or a certain mechanical process that you become good at it, through which you condition your synaptic neurons to want to be good at it, want to continue it. From that continuation and being good at it, you get certain kind of a joy, and that joy makes you continue, and that repetitious makes you to be attached. Why? Because you like doing it. When you like doing it, you don't want to stop doing it. Therefore, that brings attachment. And attachment from continuation, repetitions of mechanical process brings security. So attachment, which is the result of continuation of mechanical process, doing something over and over, brings security. So attachment is how you feel secure. That's why when your relationship or something in your life breaks up from how it was, you can't move on, not because you can't move on, you realize you want to move on, but because you feel secure if you keep being attached to what and how things were. That's why you don't want to break the attachment, to be free, to be able to move on. Now, if you can understand the relationship between security and attachment, and that's why you don't want to break the attachment to make yourself free to move on, then you understand why you're not able to move on, because you're not breaking the attachment, because the attachment to you makes you feel secure. Because you've constantly been doing that, from doing a repetitious something that you're good at, you feel good, and that feeling good makes you want to do more of it, and that doing more of it brings that attachment to doing more of that, what you enjoy and what you're good at. And you don't want to break that attachment, because that brings security to you. Hence, you're not free to move on. Now, if you replace that, what you're attached to something else, another idea, another something that you're enjoying, another something that you can be good at, or another relationship in some cases, then you have a way to find security in something new that you're good at, as a mechanical process through the repetition, and then you can easily attach yourself from the old attachment and have a new attachment which has actually freed you. Through new attachment, you're now able to be free to move on and latch onto something else that brings you security. Attachment, security, and moving on. Hope that makes sense to you, and hope that will be helpful to you in your way of and your attempt of moving on from your breakups or whatever it is that you want to change, and be free and go on to bigger and better things. Think about it. I'll talk to you soon.